Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how have you been? Today we have a guest all the way from the United Kingdom. Lulu, in Kenya, we say, how will it be to say hi to our guest? And then the guest will respond and say, it has already been. So when I say, how will it be?
Okay. It's
Respond.
already been.
Huh?
It has already been.
See, you learn very fast. How will it be, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for joining us today. And it's been a while, and we've been planning this live for a while now, and I'm glad we made it on this fateful day. Please introduce yourself before I go any further.
Okay. Hello, guys. Hi. I'm Lulu, and my channel name is Lulu's Diaries. And I am one of your sisters. Yeah. So whoever is watching this, I'm a sister of yours. I'm an auntie. I'm a daughter. I'm whatever you think I am. And
Yeah.
I share content similar to Joe, and very similar, just talking about the wars, the things that I wish I knew when I came to the UK almost 20 years ago. So I've been here for a while.
Man.
So dishing out the lessons and the things
Right.
that I still want you guys to tell me. So anyway, that's a brief introduction.
When I saw your channel, I was like, this girl is talking about the things that are in my heart that I want to talk about. But the difference is you have a skin for the game for 20 years in the UK.
Yes.
How has the journey been like, reflecting on your first, second, third year versus now? How, maybe we can just start when you came to the UK. What were your expectations? Why did you? And first of all, where are you? Which part of the world are you from?
I'm from the motherland. I'm from
The motherland. Okay.
motherland.
Okay.
I'm from African. I'm West African. I've got a few heritages, but I associate myself as a West African and as a Pan-African because I was saying before that we are all one, and the only thing that separates us is just a borderline. So, everything you want me to be. But you talked about what reality has been, and when I came here, do you want me to go to that now, or do you want me to just go straight what has happened since I got here?
Yeah, so I think the reason why the algorithm brought me to you and I liked your pointers is because personally I have had what I might call paradoxical disappointment in how I viewed the Western world out there, like my expectations versus reality. I've had some wins and losses, highs and lows, and the problem is most of our African people who came before us have not been entirely honest with us, with their experiences. So I started talking about our experiences, and I'm hoping that you can share from a UK perspective, because I might say things from a US perspective and it's maybe different from the UK. So maybe we can just start from the start.
Okay, start from the start. I like that.
Yeah.
Let's start from that. To be honest, you're right. I think, let me talk about, because, if you came, we spoke backstage and you said you've been there for 5 years. Is it 5 years?
5 years now, yeah.
100% correct. I think that people are not totally honest, especially now that the social media. I always say that the blessing that we have is that the biggest employer in the world, the biggest voice that people have in social media. It's a curse and it's a blessing, okay? You can either use it like a blessing to constantly improve yourself, learn, educate yourself, or you can use it in a detrimental manner to read what you want to see, maybe compare with others and feel miserable. It's left to people, right? So I'm saying this because when I came, there wasn't social media.
Right.
Okay. But so what that meant was those people came, even if they were miserable, you would not really know because the information was not out there like that. The people who made it are people who physically could go back home. So just think about it, if you're not doing well, you can't even travel back home, right? So people who only the best, when you sieve flour and the best comes down, only those who could actually show themselves like, I'm doing well, we could see them. Those who were in destitute, those who were struggling, don't have a chance to come in contact with us because they were ultimately abroad, hiding in a certain place, and we just only heard the positives. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's what our impression was. And another thing that's important is 20 years ago, we did not have, I was discussing this with my son yesterday. I said, we have first generation Africans.
Yeah.
If you follow this keenly, you realize that the oldest first generation immigrant Africans are about 35 years old.
Right.
Those whose parents came, settled, and had them. Most first generation Africans are younger because back then people came and went back home. The mass exodus started in about 2000. People just moved out for better lives. My dad studied in England in the 70s.
Okay.
He did a degree, studied in Birmingham. Then people used to touch him and feel like the skin will come off. And
they hadn't seen a black man like that.
Yes. And when he was coming, he did not even come with the thought of even staying because our countries were still doing well. So they'll export people to come and go back. It never ever crossed his mind to remain here, right? So he came, studied, and before his even graduation came, I don't even have pictures of his graduation. He went back.
Right.
And he met my mom and they relocated. So, and then he had us a few years later. So why I'm saying this is the impression that I had when I was coming to England was I used to see pictures of my dad with a suit and the leaves, the autumn, the spring, all beautiful. Houses that were not very nice with the colors, but I just thought people from England always educated themselves well. And a lot of mom worked in oil industry back home. So a lot of people studied here. I thought this is great. If I can come here and get an education, I'll go back and I'll be looked like first class citizen. I'll be given
class citizen.
Yeah.
Studied in England.
And I came to a very prestigious university.
Work in top companies.
Exactly. Because my mom was my role model, right? And she worked with Shell most of her life. So she would, and I had people who I actually almost got a job before I came. So I was from a bit of privilege. So I knew when I come back and study, I'll just go back, I'll be some director. And the life back home, from what I saw, we did not have that kind of good life because my mom was not that high up, But some people who studied abroad, my mom studied back home. So I'm like, oh, I'll be like this woman. So that was my impression. And when I came, the difference is when you get here, life sucks you. You don't even have time to think.
No, you don't even have time to be creative for anything.
Nothing. It feels like it's a maze. Once you go in, you can see in the picture that there's a maze and there's an outlet. You know how Ludo is or whatever games you used to play back in the day? That you have to go around and get to your endpoint. So you can see the endpoint, but it depends on how you get to that endpoint, right?
Right.
And there's no blueprint that tells you how to get there.
No.
So you keep trying. You don't have the time to. The biggest thing that Western world has done to us is taking our creativity and time away.
Right.
Because they put you in. And I know the video that I did, maybe you fell on, was a video where I said I came to this country. The drive, I was 21 when I came.
So you were on fire.
I was like, I came, the fight that I had.
Yeah.
Not like I'm blowing my own trumpet. My friends were a bit more timid because I've always been that person who I will not stop.
Yeah. Right.
And the blessing I say is whoever picks you from the airport determines your life abroad.
Repeat that again. Can I hear an amen? That is a very crucial point. Whoever
picks you from the airport determines the way your life goes.
So choose your host. We call them host here. Choose your host wisely.
Very wisely.
Right.
Very wisely, because this topic, I'm very passionate about it because I am the last of 3 kids. And my first brother, there's 3 of us, but it was like we're triplets because we're born in 3 years. So, and my brother left home, younger, about 19, and went to somebody who we thought was good. But I don't think he'll mind me saying this if he ever sees this video, But he didn't really have the orientation. He was not that lucky to find the hands of people who had like what I'll do now, right? And it was so emotional. The day I got my visa, I remember the day I was traveling, I had a little party. And he called. He's like, oh, Lulu. That's how he calls me. He's like, Lulu, I'm so happy for you. And I was like, I didn't know he was in trouble at the time. He's like, you're so lucky because my mom's brother got my admission because he says I was quite smart. It's like, I want to help somebody in the family.
Right.
And he's really in the town where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So went to the university, looked at the courses to do, and I just started like a princess. And my mom gave me my first installment and I got admission. Back then, it was quite easy. It was even an admission that had no conditional offer to do development economics.
Okay.
So the idea was that you come back and go back, you know. And I did economics for a degree. So he said, I hear you're going to study this, is that. Back then, we did not have mobiles. It was like the house phone number, you know, like early 2000, 2003. And he said, oh, uncle, this person is so, you know what? Let me tell you something. The person that picks from the airport is going to determine your life. And the person picking you up is not only, he's a lawyer, he's gone back to law school. He's going to be a barrister. He has sorted. And I was like, really? He's like, listen to me. You tell me this in years. And I did not think anything because I was his 21-year-old hot mama, you know?
Yeah.
Time that I took a step back and I remember how his life went. He went back home. It was so turbulent. So my uncle said, let me tell you something. He said there's certain things that you should agree now that you cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? He said, yeah. I said, do you want to work? I said, do I have a choice? He said, okay. Everybody will tell you that there's this particular thing. And he said, please don't take, guys, if you're watching, don't take offense if you're a carer, because there's nothing wrong with being a carer. But he said, I know you. And I can tell you that when I came, he had been here for like 5 years. He said, when I came, I was looking for, because he had gone to law school back home. And he came adult, like a bigger man, like in his maybe late 30s or so. He said, oh, to start now, you need to get into care, you get a job immediately. And when he found out he's a bit of a snob. That's why he's doing so well, to be fair. He's like, I can't do it without any disrespect. So he said, I know you're worse than me because you are even for more privilege. So I don't think you can do it. And I said, what does it entail? He told me, I said, hell no. But guess what? All of my friends came like sheep and went straight into that, right? He said, there's retail, there's customer services. It will help your language, understanding. Just hear the kind of advice. He said, watch your local programs. Wherever you live in, if you live in London, there are particular things for the accent, which is Cockney. If you live in the East, he said, because it will help you adapt in the lifestyle so that you don't stay in your community, because he had a Caucasian English woman. He said, the way that I got this, and he told me all this, they might look very, very abstract, but those are things that shaped me. And I had a bunch of friends who were classmates who came that same year. And I can say this without any reservation that out of like 10 of my friends, 8 didn't go to university because they could not afford the fees. The others that could, when we were working, they did night shifts and they've never been able to have the bonus to go into white collar jobs because there's always that intimidation.
And you see, again, the problem is once you start with caregiving jobs, when I came, there are people that before we left Kenya, we met at the embassy and we formed like a WhatsApp group. There are people we were friends when we came, like the same year.
Okay.
So in our first year, we were asking each other, so what, we all went to different places. People were being hosted by different people. Okay. So the first, second month, we're checking on each other. So what are you doing? What are you doing? And the people that ran immediately to caregiving, best believe 4 or 5 years later, they're still doing the same thing. The problem is, from what you mentioned, once you get in, it's like a drug. First of all, you get too comfortable. You don't want to explore anything else. But for me, I had my own struggles. I came in, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. What else can I do? Yeah, I said, no.
I was just saying this because it's something I tell people, but I didn't even know that you felt the same.
I felt like that is not, because they say America, the Western world is a world full of opportunities. So in my mind, there are things I wanted to do, and I just said, okay, that's what I want to do. I'll try that. So fast forward almost 5 years later, I think I have done 7, 8 different things. When I talk to my peers and they're like, oh, Joe, you've done so many things. It's because I've been trying so many things, you know?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Shout louder. People should
Yeah.
start sticking to what they have been told. And we are
Right.
like sheep without shepherd. We just follow each other. Even if we're like blind leading the blind. The English person will say dumb and dumber. Like you just follow each other and we don't really know why we're doing it, but we're doing it because my uncle did it. My sister is doing it. Why do you want to be different? So yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt. Sorry, I've spoken too long. Maybe you want to ask me something else. That
No.
was my first few impressions, and I was very, very ambitious. Very. I had to. My situation was very. Even though I'm saying it now, very relaxed. I don't remember. You know, God, or those who believe in God. I know there's a lot of people who believe now in the universe, but whoever you believe.
We have to be careful because out here people are people believe in different things. Yeah.
Yes. Whoever you believe in, that higher right?
Power.
It shades us from trauma. If you're going through anything, there's a way that you are shielded from it, because the most difficult years in this country when I came, I don't remember them in detail, the bad things that happened. I'm saying it now, and I'm only just touching the surface, right? It all sounded good at the beginning because I came, I had a house to stay, which I thank my God for, and a warm home. I came in the winter, September, but it was not long lived because things went a bit sour for my uncle and his partner. So I was kicked out in 2 months.
In 2 months?
I was 21.
What? We almost have the same story. I moved from my host in 1 month. In fact, he was very honest with me when first of all, I had an initial host who was a distant relative, and he threw me under the bus after I got my visa and abandoned me while I'm still in Kenya. So I have my visa, but I cannot travel because the person who's supposed to host me changed his mind. So I found another host. And this host, because of the circumstances in his house, he was very honest with me. He was like, I can only host you for 1 month. And he told me that before I left Kenya.
That's very nice, very noble.
Yeah, very noble. So when I came in, and God was good because when I came in, I got my documents almost the second week. So I was able to start looking for jobs, opening a bank account, blah, blah, blah. And after 1 month, I left. And the rest is history. And you're right. You mentioned something very important. The universe or God shields us from the bad days, because when I moved out, it was brutal. Imagine just coming from Africa, now you're just by yourself. Yeah.
It's bad.
But at least I was older. You were 21. 21.
And my uncle was like my mom's son.
Okay.
You know, my mom is a lot older, and imagine me being, So when I kept saying my uncle, he was quite young back then. I think 20 years he was a young man, so he did well, know. And I always say this, that he bought me my bed. He said, "I'm sorry," and he could not even tell me. He told my mom. And that particular day, I'm going to share this in detail on my channel someday. The trauma, because on that day, right, when I came, he said to me, "Get your bank account open," like you've just said. The next day, I got my bank account. He got me connected, gave me a SIM card, got me a phone, and said, "Do this, do this, do that." So here we call it NI number. It's like, as you guys call security number, maybe Social Security,
Social Security number, SSN.
Yeah, something like that. We call it NI. So I was so smart, and I had some friends at uni. When I say smart, not school, I mean like streetwise, I had some friends at uni, and this guy said, "There's this company down the road. They're looking for caterers. Let's go there." So I came like on a Friday. By the next week, Thursday, when I really started, these are supposed to be master students studying, right?
Yeah.
You had to survive, because my fees was £10,000 20 years ago. The equivalent of that is that's 1 year master's fees.
Yeah.
My parents gave me the first installment of 3,000, and I thanked them. The money was in my account. I'll go and look at my account and I'll see the money. I'm like, I'm so rich. But I knew that was going to go very soon, and I'll be left with nothing, right?
Right. So you had to make hay while the sun shines. Yeah.
Exactly. I went to this place, and they said, okay, back then it was so straightforward. So I really feel sorry for people coming now when life has become more stringent. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Things are harder. And this guy said, okay, yes, you guys, the governor said, get a white t-shirt and black trousers, and you serve in a festival, in a festival. The first shift I had, I just applied for my NI. That automatically generated my NI number, my SSN number.
The first shift.
My first, once you register and you have a job, they have to pay you for you to have contributions.
So basically, the check, your first check, activates it because you need to pay taxes.
Absolutely. So I was giving all this advice. So I did not really necessarily want to be serving in a beer with drunk men, you know. I really took the job, and I took my 3 friends with me.
Yeah.
And we went there, did the first shift, second shift. We had to do 2 weeks before you get your first pay.
Yeah,
it's okay. And then the next week in the post, my NI came. My uncle said, okay, now you can look for a job that makes more sense. I left. But then I had to get my driving license. Not because I had to drive, because my uncle said, your passport, you can lose it. Have an ID that you can use. If anybody's watching and you're new, think about the fact that there are certain things that will make your stay easier if you know. Knowledge is power, right? And something I was blessed with at the beginning. So I got that, and I was doing so well. But what hit me hard was when after a month, I checked my account, I had £30. So the money that I came with, the school had taken the first installment, and I had to be paying every quarter to come up with £10,000.
Okay.
Because I was an international student.
Yeah.
So that particular day,
I
came home, I was so depressed. I said, okay, this is reality now. I have £30.
Yeah. Between you and poverty.
I looked at the mirror. I had to be going to school, and my uncle lived so far away from my school.
Yeah.
I looked horrible. My hair looked so bad. I said, okay, I'm not going to look so miserable, because I already put a lot of applications for work.
Yeah.
And this thing is when, oh God, let me say, there was this period of Christmas. So I got here in September. So this is like November.
Yeah.
I was about to be kicked out. I did not know I was about to be kicked out. Just did that. Hey, so it's really funny. I can laugh now, but then I'm sure the tears that I cried.
I'm imagining the stress you are under. You are in a foreign country. You are young. You are out there by yourself. You still have assignments, and they don't care out here. They give you assignments every week.
I cannot fail, because if I fail, I have to, I have to pay more money to even receipt. So I'm thinking I have to pass. So that particular day, I heard that a lot of my friends, I had some of these very fast Nigerian people in my class. They said the Royal Mail is like our own postal system. Looking for people to work for Christmas. Imagine Christmas, not now that we even have e-cards. Back then it was all letters. So it's like, oh, they're recruiting. And they're paying, I think back then, minimum wage was like £4. They're paying like £6. I'm like, what, an hour? So I applied application, as luck will have it. I applied like in 3 places, even shops like Walmart. They were also doing Christmas recruitment, right? And I was a student, so I could only work 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
So I applied Walmart, and I applied in the Royal Mail, like the postal service. This was a Thursday. I'd gone down to £25 because I used £5 for my week pass, right? So I could not even tell my mom. Pride, I don't know what it was.
Yeah. But let me cut you short a little bit.
Yes.
You said your first check activated your
NI number.
NI number. I'm a little bit confused. What is the criteria for international students in the UK to get that NI number? Because I know in the US sometimes it might be a little bit shaky. So what do you have to do? Just get a job? Yes.
So to get a job, it's like, to get a job, you need to prove that you're legit in the country, right?
Right.
So you need to show that your visa
is valid.
And the visa will tell you what you are entitled to.
Okay.
You understand? So it used to be, I don't know about now, but it used to be checked manually. Mine said 20 hours and no recourse to public funds. So I couldn't access any public help. It's a visa in your face. So any recruiter,
you cannot access any public help.
any public funds or none of that.
Do not touch taxpayers' money.
Don't dare. You'll be sent back. You're being illegal.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what. So once they say okay, it's valid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what kind of work can you do? And I said anything, silver service, serve people.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a shift. So I had to go through training, maybe like 3 days of training.
Mm-hmm.
And once they could vet that I was that person, they got their books. But since I'd never worked in the UK, there was no record of how much I'd contributed because I just come.
Mm-hmm.
So once you start working, automatically you pay tax.
Right.
Because it goes through the system in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So you pay what you call an emergency tax because you're not being put in the right tax brackets. Let me explain that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There are different tax brackets, right, for different earning. So when you work, say, if you earn over, say, 6 figures, what you pay in tax in the UK is 40%.
Okay.
Earn over, I think, 40,000, you pay. So it's in bands.
Mm-hmm.
So based on me being a student on minimum wage, I was on the lowest. I paid the least tax. But on the first, they take a big chunk and then they adjust it. So that automatically tells the system that this person is contributing. So this is that unique national insurance number that can be used if you're looking for a job, and that number stays the same all through your life.
Gotcha. And
Does
gives
that make sense?
that makes sense and opens more opportunities now for you now to advance.
Because they could ask you, do you have an NI number? You have it. So quickly they say, okay, we've already done the checks.
Okay.
You can work.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So although, I'm sorry?
Although we're paying tax, it's not really a positive thing because all I was doing that was to pay tax and contribute.
Yeah. You want the system to recognize you.
By paying them.
By paying them. Yeah. Tax is actually the biggest thing out here because the more you earn, the more they take it away. And it feels like, yes, in Africa, the problem with our economies is that we don't have opportunities for employment. Yes. So all we want to do coming out here is I want to get a job. And then you will get a job. You will not struggle getting a job.
There are jobs. You will not even know what to do.
You will work. For real, you will work.
Oh, yes.
But, the only concern with that is that the amount of effort that you're putting in that work versus what you get and what they're taking, they will now, the situation forces you to be in a merry-go-round, you making one step forward, 2 steps backward.
Literally.
And now, yeah, I think on the backstage, we were also talking about, when you started, you also mentioned it. You said there are people who came to the Western world and then they just disappeared from the radar. And it's because, when you're not advancing in life and you feel like you're losing, you don't want to show people, it's because you're stuck in this matrix. But then when you were starting off, did you foresee a possibility of being stuck in the matrix, or you were just excited to be in the UK?
I did not even know what to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not even ashamed to say this, guys. So if anybody's watching and shaming me,
yeah.
The shame that I don't have is that I did not even know that this was a matrix till 5 years ago. So it took me 15 years.
Oh my! Sorry, it took you almost 15 years.
I thought I was smart, but this country has outsmarted me.
Oh man!
And I'm even saying this out of shame because reality is probably like 3 years ago that I knew.
Until 5 years ago. So from year 1 to almost year 15, you are a believer in the dream.
You know how successful I thought I was.
Nobody could tell you nothing. You had made it in life.
I was going like the world is coming to an end. I was like going.
Yeah.
The thing that made me realize it was certain things will happen. Certain small things, like my car will just disappoint me.
Yeah.
And then I'm back to zero. I'm like, but how can I, after all these years, still struggle with the car? And then I have many things.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because even here in the States, you might be doing so well, like just you're working, probably you're in school, probably your family is good. Like things are shaping up. You can eat 3 meals a day. You have a roof over your head. When you appear in front of people, and especially people from back home, they see, oh man, you are very successful. But the thing is, even for the top earners, you are one paycheck away from poverty. Serious, one paycheck away. You are one paycheck one paycheck from poverty, away from poverty. If you miss, for example, you get laid off. For example, when COVID came, if it was not for the social security paychecks that they sent to families, guys were actually families, men were lining up to get food because they missed a paycheck or two paychecks.
Right. Yeah. You're very right. And would that, the thing about you guys in the US is, sorry, let me digress a little bit, right? Because I travel to the US often enough.
Yeah.
And I realized that you guys live, this is not a secret, more than we do. So the first time I went to the US, two things caught me. I loved the weather in particular places. I loved the size of things.
Right.
What in the UK is completely missing. Everything in the UK is small.
I get that a lot. Everything is small, even houses, cars.
Everything is small. I remember when I came from the airport the first time, I was driving in when you're in near the houses, like in the residential area.
Yeah.
It was back then the roads were smaller, or I'm just used to it now. Yeah. I kept doing that, like, you're gonna brush this car.
Like you're gonna look something up. Yeah.
Like, calm down. And because I used to drive back home before I came. So it's like, oh, I know you're driving now. I said, no, I don't, me drive, never. Because I'm thinking, you drive in this country? He said, I said, I don't want your car. Because the roads were so tiny. And then I entered his house, and he had a big house. Right. But the house was so small, I felt claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But after some time, you get used to it, right? So when
your mind adjusts. Yeah.
You adjust. From the airports, I saw the cars. I said, this is home. I see my friends, and people say that don't compare, but trust me, we're humans, right? It's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see everywhere. One of my friends, my cousin said to me, the thing about America is that, sis, if you want a Lamborghini, you just have to work hard. She said, I determined the car that I wanted, me and my husband.
Yeah.
Got it because we worked hard, and that stuck. Because when I went to her place, she just bought her house in Houston. This is now talking now maybe 10 years plus ago. And she had this Range Rover parked in the garage. She had her own car, and she had an everyday car, which was like a normal, whatever. She said, this is our going out car, this is our Sunday car, and this is our daily car. And I said, correct.
And you said Houston, Texas. Now you said America, everything is big. And here in America, we say in Texas, everything is big. Actually, there's a quote about Texas. It says, in Texas, you go big or you go home. Cars are big, houses are big, highways are big.
So you can imagine the shock for me.
Yeah.
So what I noticed very quickly was that when we go out and you have to actually bring out the money, that credit cards that fly out, we don't have credit cards like that. We actually have money.
For sure.
Yeah, I can tell you this. Even now that I go back home a lot, I'm telling you that I'm just agreeing that the system sucks you. And if you're not smart enough to live slightly below your means, they'll throw all these luxuries at you.
Yeah.
Because you're working and you can afford it.
You're right.
Affordability doesn't mean that you have the cash.
No.
It means that you can work hard to pay for it.
Right.
So what you do is that you can, if you're earning 6 figures and your lifestyle is worth 6 figures, you're going to be breaking even every month.
Yeah.
But if you're earning 6 figures and your lifestyle is you're earning 60,000 or less, you will have extra to have cash.
Right.
And I learned this the hard way.
Right. Me too. Honestly, I realized last year that I don't remember the last time I paid something with cash. And I realized, okay, I have money. I feel like I have money.
Yes.
But I rarely see the money.
Yes.
Like touch it with my hands. Yes. It goes to my account after I work. After it goes to my account, I'll pay off my debts in my credit cards. I'll transfer the same money from my account to my rent, from my portal for my rent. So that money, I haven't touched it. You know, in Africa, most of the times you can even pay cash for rent.
Of course. Of course. You just
So the money, yeah, the money has left my account. It has gone to the landlord. If I have a car note or I'm paying insurance, it has left my account. It has gone to the insurance. At the end of the day, I'm left with no money to actually touch. But in terms of debt, like the people who are giving me money to spend,
yes,
I have this credit card. They want to give me 10,000. You can use 10,000. 5,000 you can use. And that's the difference. Now that, in my view, is my number one mistake that I did when I came here.
Yes, everybody makes that mistake, I think.
In my first year, I bought my first iPhone 12. In my first year, I went to a store, AT&T. And I had the money, honestly, because I got my first job in my second month. So I knew the iPhone 12 was around $800. I intended to buy it cash. I went in there and the lady asked me, do you have I think she had my accent. And she was like, do you have a social security number? I said, yes, I do. Do you have it with you here now, right now? I said, yeah, it's in my wallet. I gave it to her. And she just checked something. And she was like, oh, you actually don't need to pay anything. You just pay 200 today, and then the rest you can just pay slowly by slowly, and there's no interest. That was the first time I was introduced to almost free things.
Yes.
You know, I walked away with
borrowing.
Yeah, the mindset of borrowing. I've walked away with an iPhone 12. I had the money to pay for it, but this lady was like, no, just give us 200. And there's no interest.
Know how you felt? You felt like I've scammed these people. I've $600. When I to give you 800.
Yeah.
But the difference is that only people who are business savvy will take 600 and go in and invest it, especially if it's interest free. Most of us will keep it in the bank.
Yeah.
Or giving you anything.
I wasted it. I don't even know what I did with the balance. That money I had specifically said I'll buy the iPhone, but they told me, oh, now the thing is, once you're introduced to this product, you are again introduced to another product. Now you have the iPhone 12, you need the earbuds. Now you have this, you need the MacBook. Now you have this.
You want the watch.
Now you want the watch. You know, they're introducing you to all these luxuries. And then we fast forward, you say, okay, if I got that iPhone like that, what about a car? Let me see. You know, how can I go and get a car for a 30,000 car and get it with 5,000? You know, they try to introduce you to this debt. And that's the thing that most people don't actually tell us before. Don't take on the bias.
If you cannot, I always tell people this now because I mentor a lot of young people who come here. I do it because I work in an institution. Yeah. So when they come in, they kind of say, oh, there's this Black African lady who's been here. So I start mentoring them young. And I always say that if you cannot pay for it, you cannot afford it.
You cannot afford it.
Simple.
And it's just like in Africa. In Africa, we didn't have money. We only bought things we could afford it. We didn't have credit cards.
And you know what? That's a kind of financial savviness that we don't have. And I think one of my last videos I mentioned what I'll do if I came today. I would teach myself about the meaning of equity. I'll teach myself the meaning of interest rates, APR, how long you pay debt for, assets, liabilities. Because buying a car, as you drive it out, you've lost so much money. And it's a liability because when you own a car, you keep spending money on that car.
Yeah.
And you keep losing money because so as opposed to buying a new car if you cannot afford it, go for a modest car that it will never be an asset, but it's less of a liability to you. A lot of people don't get the difference. And certain cars that you cannot even drive if you're not wealthy.
Yeah.
You have money, but you don't have wealth.
Yeah.
Right? But because we don't have a system that has financial institutions, we don't understand the dynamics when it comes to borrowing, lending, and throwing finances at us. So we get so excited because you are back home. If you want to go to your neighbor to ask for free, maybe you cannot afford sugar or something from a shop, they'll give that to you, but they'll not put any interest in it, right? They'll say, Madam, tomorrow when you have money, come and give me the money for the sugar.
Yeah.
Because it's like street language. Very few people who walk into the banks, except business moguls who know the system. And you from normal lives have no business with the banks.
Yeah.
But when you come here, and you're even looking at the street vendor,
Mm-hmm.
the man who will charge you money, he might be a loan shark. He might put in so much interest. So that kind of basic financial knowledge must be shared to people back home, because the whole world is getting global.
Yeah.
Even when you're back home, you're working, you have a credit card, you want to buy something online, be intentional about understanding why anything is thrown at you. Nothing is free.
Nothing is free.
It's free. But when you tell people, it's just the excitement and the poverty mindset, because poverty mindset is scarcity mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Scarcity mindset means that I don't have. So when I'm given, I have to take it all. They don't believe that they're deserving of anything.
Hey, that's a good one.
Do you
It's a
understand?
it's a poverty mindset. So when you're given, you take it all.
All, because you feel like the scarcity in life.
Yeah.
So that is why some people cannot even lose weight, because they come from poverty where they've not seen beef.
Yeah.
They go to the shops and they can buy beef. They think, if I don't consume all of this beef,
I don't know about tomorrow. Yeah.
it's poverty.
Yeah.
When you come from abundance or the abundance mindset,
Mm-hmm.
you don't think that you have to do it all in one day,
No.
because that means that you're scared. And I think that the biggest thing that has held me today is fear.
Mm-hmm.
The day that I stopped fearing or being scared
Mm-hmm.
is the day my life changed. Let me digress a little bit. I
Right.
turned 40. I'm actually going to be 42 this year, but it
Mm-hmm.
still feels like I just turned 40, because my 40th year
Is when.
I mean that I'm writing a book.
Yeah.
40 came and 40 dealt with me. I
Yeah.
thought about what it did without me being teary, and I don't want to crown this thing. But 40 came with a lot of baggage.
Mm-hmm.
40 made me believe that my life was going so well.
Mm-hmm.
But I thank God that everything is a blessing in disguise, right? And if you don't go through big changes, you don't grow.
If you don't go through big changes, you don't grow.
You stay in the same space.
Exactly. And that goes to our point when we mentioned about when we Africans come here and we run directly to healthcare,
Yes.
in healthcare, and we get used to it because what they feel like it's hard work here. We were taking care of our grandmothers back at home or our parents, and we don't feel like it's work. You sit there with an elderly person. So every day you get used to that comfort, and
Absolutely.
you don't grow after a while, So if it's not difficult enough, if there are no challenges, you stay the same.
Stay the same. And that's even with every job. Like, I've been in the same job for almost 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And before I got that job,
Mm-hmm.
drive I had, I was untouchable. Like, I'll walk into any office and you'll hate me.
Yeah.
Because I was that girl who go into, and I was in corporate world. I was
Yeah.
that girl who go into the office, and I did not look at, I was ruthless,
Yeah.
right?
You are
And
crushing them as you
I'm
move
that
on.
person who I hate now.
Yeah.
I'm that person who I cannot stand now.
Yeah.
But I was going.
Yeah.
My first, like, and this is me going with kids. So I was having kids. I have 4.
Yeah.
I was having kids, and I was working, and I
Yeah.
was stopping.
Yeah.
I did not even, I don't even know what to say. But when I got to a point where nature stopped me,
Mm-hmm.
as I turned 40, they just said, stop this. Stop. You did not come for this.
Yeah.
You have a lot more potential.
Yeah.
And people said to me, people will throw comments at work and say, what are you? Because I was in the corporate IT world. Like, some people will say, oh, you're too glam for this role, and I'll get angry.
Yeah.
Then the more I think about what they said, it's not like I'm a glam page 3 girl or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
it just meant that my personality was a bit too big for that job, and I had a lot more to give, because
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in a meeting and I'll digress to my life, and people will start laughing,
Yeah.
and I'll talk about my life journey. I'll give you a number, and I was that kind of people's person.
Yeah.
The clues were in front of me, right?
Yeah.
But because the fear held me in the sense that I had job satisfaction,
Mm-hmm.
and the fear of saying, how do I start? I started several businesses, some that I actually sold out in days. I designed products from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Got them from the Far East,
Mm-hmm.
shipped them, cleared them, right? and went on Amazon. People cannot do that FBA thing. I studied it in 5 nights.
Yeah.
Got my products top listing on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
Products that I formed sleeping by myself.
Yeah.
Products out in the market.
Mm-hmm.
A day job. As that COVID almost started during that period, I went into supplying companies, accessories. And then they say, if you don't, most people who are successful, I'm not successful, so don't put me there.
Yeah.
People who are successful have had the most failures.
Because they've tried a lot.
They tried a lot. And that went so good at the beginning. And then I hit a major brick wall, which this video I cannot even go down that road because it was crazy and I lost thousands.
Oh.
But guess what? I just said, oh, it's all right.
Yeah.
I move. And but I still had my job, like my security. So I lost the money because of nothing to do with me, but it just, I said, maybe God is saying, stop this, your business.
Yeah.
But I'm saying all of this because the day that I realized that this fear and back and not wanting to change will never take me to where I want to go to.
Right.
That's why I'm actually here talking to you now, because my new channel, which was just a place to pour. I've said this to everybody that wants to listen, that I started my channel out of frustration.
Yeah.
Because I realized that I've been here, then it was 19 years last year. I looked around, I had a major issue at work at the time, major. A job that had given blood, sweat, and tears to.
Yeah.
And then one of my kids got unwell. And I was so depressed. I remember just sitting down and not crying every minute. I normally don't cry. I looked around. It was miserable. Nobody to talk to except my mom, who's my best friend. I would complain because she's always with me. Complain. And then that day, something said, tell people how you're feeling.
Yeah.
And I put my camera up. And I told people how I felt. I spoke for 2 hours to a camera.
Yeah.
And then I stopped it, put that into 4 videos, and I posted every day. I had 0. I've never ever shared my channel till tomorrow to anybody I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a week, I had 1,000 subscribers and I was monetized in 10 days. From the first video.
Because in my view, you are honest, you are truthful in whatever you are saying, and you are saying something that most people did not have
with.
Yeah. And most people do not have the guts to say. They are going through it, but they can't say it.
Because of shame. So people contacted my husband and they said, why is she doing this?
Yeah.
And I have the best husband because he said, I don't know. She doesn't listen to even me. So let her go on what she's doing. Just leave her in peace.
Yeah.
And whoever text him, you know me, I'm troublesome. I can say that. I text them and said, did you not hear me say, I don't want anybody to see this my channel? So why are you going to text? And they were like, okay, calm down. But I'm just saying that the thing that most people have is fear, right? And everything in life I've learned that going to work, the bottom line is that going to work every day and slaving. Not everybody can do non-9 to 5. So people must work for the system. These fingers are not equal. So people love the 9 to 5 life and they're doing so well. But if you have started feeling like you're a slave, you've started feeling like your self-confidence is depleted. You started feeling that the thing that God gave you joy in the morning brings you sadness. If on a Sunday you have panic attacks, it's a sign that you might need to look out of the box.
Yeah.
Because my mom worked for 45 years and loved it till the day she retired.
She enjoyed it.
She enjoyed it. Gave it. I threw her a surprise retirement party because my mom was, for me, a role model. But I am so different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I always tell people that we're in the best age, digital age, that if you have even the most weird talents are monetized nowadays.
Yeah.
One of my kids can imitate people.
And you can monetize on that.
Monetize that.
Actually, nowadays, there's even AI to improve that.
So the potential is endless.
Yeah.
But I'm saying this to our people because we are in a foreign land, right? And we have a target to come and maybe go back. So the way you will get to your end goal quicker, because that is time. You can, if you don't remember that time is important, you can keep working and working for others, right? And when you open your eyes, you're 50.
And there's nothing to show for apart from that work.
So if today the only thing you do, I'm talking to your audience now, if the only thing you do today, right, is look at yourself and say, if you're happy, you are so lucky if you're happy. If you are not happy, do something about it. Do something about it immediately.
But let me go back a little bit to, and I'm glad we are heading there on how now to begin with the end in mind. Most people who are watching might have the dream of immigrating to the West, UK, Australia, somewhere in the West for opportunities, but they have that job mindset. And now we are talking about, okay, is it really worth it? And how do you feel inside? Is a job a purpose for you? Yes. So taking you back when you got your job at 21, now you're a server, but you've gone to become a corporate lady. You've become now a businesswoman. Is it do you think it's because you tried business so that made you realize you feel enslaved to the system? Or why? How did you now come to the realization? Because my fear, when I came, I got a corporate job as well, but it was in real estate.
Okay, wow.
My first year, I worked in real estate as a leasing consultant.
Oh, wow.
And for most people, I was successful. They would see me and say, "Oh man, this guy just went to the States.
Yes, he's doing this already.
He's already sitting in a white collar office and all that." They would think I'm successful. I did not feel successful. I was not even happy in that position. Clients would come in and I would see, we were leasing apartments worth almost $3,000. So clients would come there, were clients who were actually doing well. And I would see them envying me. They would even say something and that made me feel like they feel that I'm doing well because I'm in this position to lease these apartments. They thought I am now up here with the same level as them.
Yes.
But I was struggling. They would pay me my salary, I pay my bills, and I'm left with almost 200 in a whole month. Almost $200. That's how I got into the game of debt, because now you've paid everything and in cash, you don't have anything.
You found that money and said, you've worked, give it back to the system.
Give it back to the system. And I realized, oh God, is this the America that you told us from the beginning? No, this is not it.
No.
I have to find something different because I can't live like this.
No.
And I've tried different things. I've become an Uber driver. I've delivered food. There's nothing I haven't done. Like I decided to do my own thing, leave employment.
Wow.
Officially, I've done all my own things.
Forget about me for a bit. What do you think about? I'm interested. I'm intrigued. You're excited.
I left employment. In fact, this is my second year since the last time I was formally employed, like going to a 9 to 5 every day.
Amazing. I need to come.
Yeah.
I need to clap for you.
But I've struggled.
Clap for you, like clap, honestly.
But I've struggled a lot, honestly. Like,
don't use the word struggle. You've had challenges.
Oh, I've had challenges, but in the challenges, I've realized I've become wiser. And some of the things I talk about right now, someone might be listening to me and they've 15, 20 years and they'd be like, oh man, I wish I knew this earlier. And you even said it. You realize that after 15 years. So it's important for you to start early, to deviate. If you feel, no, I'm not happy inside, or I feel like a slave, you definitely don't ignore your feelings.
Yes. Don't ignore your feelings. And don't feel like you're being ungrateful, because the thing that I get a lot from people is that, how dare you?
Yeah.
You sit in your house and you have a mortgage. Why are you complaining?
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because we have different benchmarks to success, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this with my full chest that we Africans set the bar so low
Mm-hmm.
that we trip over it every minute. We don't even strive to get to the top of where we need to go to.
No.
The minimum is that we want to come here.
Yeah.
Because we're from, again, poverty mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So we feel like this is a privilege to come here.
Yeah,
So
we feel like, oh man, say that again. We feel like it's a privilege to come here.
Here. So
Yeah.
once we come here, we settle for everything and anything less than our true potential.
Yeah.
Because we feel like we're doing a favor to the
like,
they are doing a favor to
like
you.
they are doing a favor to us, yes. And that mindset even goes to when you're seeking a visa. Most people, when I talk to them and they're trying to seek visas to come to the States, they get disappointed at the embassy a lot. And when I have a one-on-one conversation with them, I realize very fast is that you already feel intimidated.
Yes.
You're going to this embassy feeling intimidated, as if they are doing you a favor. No, bro, you are an asset to them. You're going to tell them, I'm going to your country to improve your economy.
Thank you.
You know, you are an...
That's again, because you know what? I want you to repeat that.
Yeah, you are an asset.
Yes.
You know, you should approach them as an asset. You're going to their country to improve their economy, to give them your skills, your talents.
And that's why they have even opened the borders for you to come.
Yeah, that's why even there's an embassy there for people like you.
And let's flip it round.
Yeah.
How many people queue up in our embassies abroad to come and visit? It's because how many of them, right? How many of, like, let me put it, say, in the Nigerian embassy or the Ghanaian or Cameroon embassy, when you think about the net numbers of people wanting to travel out, it's nowhere close to equal.
Yeah.
Because we are at this point, if we start knowing our potential, that we are where the Western world was maybe 100 years or maybe 70 years ago. So there's a lot of improvement going on. And very soon, numbers, look at, is it Ghana that I'm seeing a lot of white British Americans happy with the citizenship? Is it Ghana or is it Kenya?
It's Ghana. It's Ghana. Ghana has been a pioneer in Africa in, helping people move there,
Yes. Yeah. So I think that when I always point back to our governments failing us, people say stop blaming, but we cannot help it because there is a precedence. There's the trajectory of my father said he doesn't blame young people now because he comes here and he hates it when it's cold. He just wants to come in the summer months. And he says, even when he was here like a young man, he never liked it. But the country, he moved back and then traveled to the northern side of Nigeria to start a life. Because there were opportunities back then. Yeah. There was less corruption. There was less greed. For some reason, things were working better. Right. But over the years, the reason why most of us find ourselves stuck here, even when we things are not working, is because when you think of what the option is to go back to your country, you'd rather be a slave. You'd rather sleep on the streets. Yes. So there's also that bit that I'm sympathetic. You understand? And some people don't come from privilege. Some people don't even, their parents borrow money for them to even travel. So when you talk to somebody like that who wants to just come and do the care job and look after the families, there's that what's the word? Spectrum of immigrants. People who come from nothing to others who have a choice to pick what they want. So when I'm giving advice, I'm very careful that everybody's circumstances are different. But even if you come from underprivilege, don't set your bar so low.
Yeah, that you trip on it.
Instead of you trying to catch it, it's down there on your feet level because you've not set it at all. Because you feel like it's a favor. My God, I'm in this country, but you're working. You're giving them, especially when they come to study, you're paying ridiculous money. So feel like you're deserving.
Yeah, and even if you're not coming to study, I came to realize that, especially here in America, the average American, once they hit 40, even 35, They
Yeah.
don't want to work. Most of them are on disability pay, on something. They're just getting money from the government for something. They're not
Yes.
rich, but
Yes.
yeah, the government cuts them a check for rent. The government
Yes.
cuts them a check for food. The
Yeah.
government cuts them a check for something else.
Yes.
That's taxpayers' money. Who's working? You.
It's
You, the
you.
immigrants, the immigrants who's working. So they're not doing you a favor. You are actually doing them a favor. And you find like right now in the States,
Mhm.
most jobs, especially the middle class, most
Yes.
jobs are immigrants, Spanish people. They keep on saying, oh, close the borders, close the borders. But Spanish people are one of the most hardworking people
Don't
here.
get me started. Don't get me started.
Yeah, so you
The
find that people are
hypocrisy
like, we
is
close the borders. Who will work? You go to hospitals, you'll find immigrants everywhere.
it's
Who
crazy.
will work?
They dangle the carrots like we're
Yeah,
rats. They
yeah,
dangle carrots so that you feel grateful that
yeah.
you without us. Like, I don't know about you guys, because I think that the US is still more tolerant with black people. The English people are very, very rigid. They're not
Mm-hmm,
open.
mm-hmm.
And they're trying to be, but there's riots going on. And there's
Yeah.
this movement of go back to your country. Like, I do videos and I leave those comments. Just
Mm-hmm,
now, somebody put a comment and said, well, learn to stay in your own country.
mm.
And because there's a bit of xenophobia going on, right?
They're
Because
like, oh, what gives you the guts? We've given you all this, and you're talking
okay,
negatively.
yes.
Mm-hmm,
And it's because the country itself at the moment they are going through, and I'm sympathetic with them. I feel
mm-hmm,
sorry because I
mm-hmm,
try to do everything in my life from a place of love, right?
mm-hmm.
A lot of the Brits themselves right now are struggling. I don't know if you know about what's happening in the UK politically and economically. The
No,
UK
not
is
really.
in crisis, honestly
Mm-hmm,
speaking.
mm-hmm,
The 2008 financial crisis that
mm-hmm,
affected most Western countries, I feel like we're hitting one. The inflation is at an all-time high. The
mm-hmm.
cost of borrowing is impossible for people to even get mortgages.
Right.
Businesses are leaving. Last year, 10,800 millionaires left the UK.
Wow.
Who are those who are coming in? Low-skilled migrant workers.
Mm-hmm,
But the people who have the money are leaving to tax havens like Switzerland, Dubai. The US
mm-hmm,
is because the system, I don't want to go so political because I love
mm-hmm,
politics. But the way
mm-hmm.
the system in the UK is made is we still have that mentality where if you're wealthy, sorry, my kids are if you're wealthy, they
Mm-hmm.
look they look down at wealth. Do you
Okay.
know that's the UK system? So if you
They
ask
look
any
down at wealth.
so if you're wealthy, you feel guilty that you are wealthy in the UK.
In America, if you're wealthy, they even tell you not to pay taxes.
Thank you. So you that is the way because of the monarchy. That's
Yeah,
why. And people
yeah.
feel like it's either you have always been wealthy or not. So if you're doing so well, they
Mm-hmm.
look at this snob. So people who you feel like you are being punished, it's a punitive system
Yeah.
that doesn't promote hard work. So people who
Okay.
are business minded are finding that they're being punished and penalized
Mm-hmm.
for opening businesses. So they're leaving.
Yeah. They're like, let me go somewhere where they will welcome me, you
Yes.
know.
And then there's a massive immigration issue as well, where they keep thinking that immigrants, especially
Mm-hmm.
asylum seekers, are taking the
Mm-hmm.
homes and all that. So that's a whole topic on its own. So the
Mm-hmm.
country is going through a difficult time. Even what you
Mm-hmm.
buy in the market, your value for pounds is not that high. So when
Mm-hmm.
they're angry, so when they see an immigrant at the best of times, they are just angry. So from that place also of sympathy
Yeah.
that perhaps it's the age we're living in and what a
Yeah.
time to be alive. So
What a time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you for taking us through that journey and actually painting a true picture of the Western world because most of us are just planning to come to the US, to come to the UK, but without an exit plan in mind, without an end goal in mind. We just
Yes.
want to work. Oh, I keep on giving an example of dopamine. When you want something so bad, and for men, for example, you've seen this beautiful girl, you
Yes.
want her so bad, and you've been pursuing her so much for a long time, and then you
Yes.
finally she says, yes, I'll be your girlfriend.
Yeah.
You stop pursuing her, and then she gets bored. That's the
Yes.
same reality even with life out here. You in Africa, you in somewhere else, and then you're pursuing the American dream. You
Yes.
so hard, you work so hard. Once you get to the States, to the UK, to Australia, your
Yeah.
dopamine goes all the way down, and now you
Yeah.
feel like you've made it. And then
Yes.
20 years later, it's emptiness. And I'm glad I started feeling the emptiness sooner. And I started talking, and people would feel like I'm complaining. Bro,
Mm.
you are in America. You
That
are in
empty
America.
feeling, please say it, that empty feeling that you cannot
And
explain.
you cannot explain it. Like, I have never thought that I would have a car that I'm driving, a place to stay, a good apartment to stay, a clean neighborhood,
Mm.
no insecurities.
Yes.
But I never thought in my life that I would have all those things and not be able to sleep at night.
Mm. Oh, sorry. Let me just stop.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This
What?
one time I stared at the ceiling in my bedroom, and I was like, damn, I am so stressed out. I
Mm.
am sad. I have food in the fridge. I'm not hungry. I have a car downstairs. It has,
Mm.
I can go anywhere.
Mm.
In Africa, if I had the car downstairs somewhere in an apartment and I don't have a problem with gas, I would be taking road trips. Like I would enjoy it.
You've really, the thing that intrigues me about you is
Yeah.
you have not been in America for so long. For you to have this kind of knowledge, really, I applaud you, because I can be very honest to say that the only thing that made some of us think that way
Hmm.
was when you have done the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
And I feel like the definition of a fool is me, or most of us, is
Mhm.
doing something over and over and expecting a different outcome.
Right. Right.
Doing the same
Exactly.
thing, but
Hmm.
not knowing, not realizing that this is not what you expected. This is
Right.
not what you bargained for. This is
Mm.
not what you wanted.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot to know this early on. And
Yeah.
somebody wrote to me today, I don't know if it's on a video or something, and she said, you've spoken to me from this, your last video of being trapped abroad.
Yeah.
She said, this is exactly how I'm feeling 1 year later. I
Yeah.
said, 1 year later? You
1 year later.
really? She said, I feel like and I am going back.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't, I just keep saying that, please, I'll keep talking to people. I'm not here to
Discourage.
encourage people from coming.
Hmm.
What I'm saying is, know why you're coming. I always, all the videos I do now, I say, ask yourself first, deep down, what do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want to stay and end up here, maybe in an old people's home, which can be okay? You can have your pairs with
Hmm.
dentures,
Hmm.
watching TV,
Yeah.
sipping tea,
Yeah.
being miserable, but at least maybe you have your kids around? Or do you want to make that, because wanting to move back also has challenges.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge being a mom
A
is
what?
a mom
Mm-hmm.
is that my kids are not exactly as Pan-African as me.
They are more Western.
Thank you. We are not thinking about this first generation crisis that we're building.
Mm-hmm.
We have some sort of, I don't want to use the wrong word. We feel like we have an indebtedness to where we come from because we have grown up there. Even me, who came here at 20 or 21,
Mm-hmm.
I was still a baby because I just left university. I came to study alone
Mm-hmm.
and I still lived at home. But I
Mm-hmm.
still feel so connected to my country because I went through the formative years. But imagine our kids who go on holiday once in 4 years, who only know what Nigeria, Cameroon, Africa, Ghana, Kenya, Zimbabwe is on reality TV or based on what our parents tell them. So
Mm-hmm.
they have formed their friendships, they have formed their affiliations, right? So the question is, if you want to go back, what happens to your kids? And what happens when you start having grandkids in latter years? Have you thought about that? Because that's another big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to my big son yesterday and I'm trying to drop all these hints now. I said, would you consider coming home if I was going to go home? And he laughed so loud. He's like, ha ha, mom, you're funny.
Yeah.
Really?
Could not relate.
It's like, I know, I respect what you've done. I respect everything about your love for Africa.
Yeah.
But I did not grow up there, and I did not sleep last night. I kept thinking what he said, and I'm thinking, how do I get him to at least maybe consider that he could spend he could decide after he's worked to go back and maybe settle if I was back home. When I said, what about if I went back? It's like, please don't stress me today.
Yeah.
I'm 16 years old.
So
that keeps me up at night.
Joe. Yeah.
And a lot of us will be kept up at night because it is going to break families in the future. We don't know now because we are only dealing with what immigration has done.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So I don't see my kids if I move back. I have 20 years officially to retire at 65.
Right.
Right? Or 25 years. And my last daughter might be 30.
You have 20 years. You have 20 years for more slavery.
Yes. The rat race. Like what most people will do, right? Most people will do that. They walk to 65. Some people even walk till more older.
Even older, yeah.
Older. But at that point, do you think that when your kids have been here in their 40s, they know what Africa is? They don't. So you're going to be forced to stay because you're thinking, if I go back now, who is back home? Maybe my auntie, my cousin. I've not seen these cousins in years. What is the life that you've built for 30 years? It's the life in America. It's the okay, my neighbors, my cousins, my friends, my kids, my grandkids get stuck in the system. That's what keeps me up at night now.
Yeah. And now your kids, I'm sorry to cut you short, because they are more Western.
Yes.
I don't know about the UK, but in the US, when you get old, either after 18, actually, your kids don't give a damn about you. And once you get old, they will definitely take you to a nursing home. No offense. And it's not like they want to mistreat you. It's just their culture. They're like, Mom, you are old now. These people will take care of you. You know?
And they'll do it with love. They'll do it with love.
Yeah, with love. No, you're there stuck there, just thinking about the motherland, but you cannot get there.
You start thinking that, how did I get here? And that's why I made a video and I said, if there's a sweet spot for kids, I will personally, and people almost crucified me. They said, no, I don't accept this, your point of view of the kids going back. I said, ideally, if you guys are looking for, you cannot eat your cake and have it. If you're looking for a good life for your kids, right, there might be sacrifices to be made. One partner might have to go back, not because you're scared that they will go wayward, but because they'll remember, and they'll be Africans, they'll be Nigerians, they will know where they come from. They'll have an affiliation to Ghana, to Kenya. Right. They feel like they've gone to school. They have their schoolmates.
Right.
But they study here. You've lost it. But that 10 years that you sacrifice from when they turn 5 to 15 could make the difference when you want to retire. Because they'll be thinking like you at that point. They'll not be thinking like first generation African immigrants. They'll be thinking like immigrants who have traveled, like they have their best friends. They have grown to love the country. They've understood what we love about the food, the culture, the communal life. You know what I mean? So they'll come here, and then when you guys all want to go back, you can be guaranteed that your kids might say, Mom, let's live 6 months here, 6 months there. You have children who have a heart. You have children who have African upbringing, who have respect, who understand family values, whose their siblings will say, Mom, I need some money to go to school. And they can give their siblings. White children is for me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
We grew up sharing. We grew up
sharing. And I remember when I started school, I moved briefly to a college housing. And I basically lived with, it's like, I don't know about your country, but in Kenya, I did my bachelor's in Kenya, and we had hostels which were off campus. That means it's like you can just rent a place in a building, but that building is mostly rented by students.
Yes, I have that as well.
Yeah. So when I first started school, I lived in such a hostel off campus. And I basically, my neighbors were kids, like straight from high school.
Okay.
20, 21, 19, maybe oldest 23. And I was approaching 30 at the time. And
Okay.
I realized I was in school, I was working, I was still sending black tax in Africa. I was trying to feed myself. I was doing all these things. But my neighbor, for example, his parents sent him to college, right? And and the moment he got to college, like my neighbor is a perfect example. His
Mm,
parents sent him to college, and they, you know, American parents, they're usually big on colleges. So they
yes.
had set money aside for
Oh,
college,
yes.
and if it's not
From birth,
enough,
I keep money aside
from
for
that,
birth.
yeah. So if it's not enough, again, there is government debt if you're a citizen. But
Yes.
this guy was like, no, my parents already set me up for college. All I have to do is come here, study, and now I can get a job. I can do what I want.
Mm,
He started working,
okay.
and within 6 months, he bought his first car. First car, 6 months. I'm telling you straight.
Mm,
How many Africans can buy a fast car in 6 months abroad? You cannot, because your money is so busy. Your money is preoccupied. So that guy in 6 months, he bought his first car because his paycheck, he saved all his paycheck. I'm not sure if the parents were paying for him rent, but I would assume if they're paying school fees, they're paying
so
rent.
it's the whole package of
It's a
education.
whole package of college, right? All right. He's working, he's bought his first car in 6 months. When he came from home, he was just dressing normally, the way just kids dress when they are at home. They don't have anything expensive.
Yes.
Within 1 year, that guy was dressing in all the number of clothes that he wants. Shoes, call it all. And he had become now a social media influencer. Within the second year, that guy moved to his own two-bedroom, changed a different car. Basically, by the second year, this guy
Yes.
was doing so well in life at barely maybe 21, 22 than I had done for myself in almost 4 years at the time. And then I asked myself why. And I realized this guy, first of all, is not stressed about so many things.
It's true.
Even assuming he did not have school, he
Yes.
works, his money is his money.
It's money.
His paycheck does not go anywhere else apart from him.
Can I
He
just
doesn't think
interrupt you?
about my parents.
Can
He
I just
doesn't
ask you
think
a
of,
question?
yeah.
I want you to carry on. I just want to ask before you carry on is, would you rather be him or you?
I would rather be me.
Okay, carry on then. Let's carry on.
I would rather be me.
Thank you.
But I was moving to a point where you mentioned the danger of our kids growing up here, where
Yes.
in California we call Californians inward gazing. Californians here, we say they only look at themselves. In
Mm,
fact, even laws, you apply something online and there's a disclaimer up there that says if you are a resident from California, do this. So
you
they
kidding?
are always, yeah, they are always inward. It's about us. It's about us
Wow.
and us and us. There's nobody else like us.
Wow.
That's
Mm,
their view, even their laws, the way they are
very
made.
selfish, kind of me,
Very
me, me.
that me. And that's why most celebrities live there, because
Yes.
even they want to be protected from you trash people, you know. They want to
That's
be protected from the
funny.
rest of the garbage.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that's funny. And
Yeah, so I realized that in 2 years, this guy was just doing everything for himself.
mm,
And I was like, damn,
mm,
if his parents get old right now, they are going straight to a nursing home. He has never been taught about sharing, talking
yes.
to neighbors, like doing anything for somebody else. So that's
Yes,
how our kids we raise here. That's how they will be like.
absolutely. That's the kind of thing I think of, and that's what keeps me up at night because
Yeah,
I have raised kids here. And when I was
yeah,
having them, I did not think about where I am today because that
yeah,
was enormous to have them here. And then I even attempted at some point one of my kids, my first, to take him back home for a
yeah,
few months, and then I was having more, and I
yeah,
missed him, and I brought him back. But
yeah.
I never thought that I'll be thinking what I'm thinking today because I'm getting closer to that point of retiring, maybe. I
Yeah,
know I'm still young, but I'm beginning to think in advance. And I
yeah,
see, if I even wanted to go back now, who would I take in this? Maybe only my little girl who is a baby. The rest of
mhm,
them are not even they'll feel like I'm punishing them.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you can try to maybe instill what our teachings are here, But just naturally, the same way we love where we come from, it's the same way that we can expect them to love here.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's sorry, I don't know. So anyway, go on. Just some.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, basically, today's intention, and after I came across your channel, I know most of my lives are usually 1 hour. We can do this again
Yes,
at a different
yes.
time and
Sorry,
keep the
I've
conversation
dragged on
going.
long, but it was really nice.
Yeah,
It was
it was really nice, and
nice.
we can have a different session sometime later. But I think the point that we are trying to, the message that we are trying to send out there is not to discourage people from
Yes,
venturing abroad, but
yes,
venture abroad knowing exactly what you want, and realize that you are an asset. These people are going to use you, so use them, to
yes,
advance your own agenda. And
yes.
if abroad is everything that you want in life, you don't want anything else, also avoid being trapped in that. I don't know, until you feel the emptiness, that you can have the things that we poor people growing up wanted to have: a car, a house, a good clothes. If you can have all those things and still feel empty, that's the worst feeling ever.
Horrible. It's horrible.
I went back to, I'm sorry, I have to insert this. I went back to Kenya last year, the first time since I came in January.
Okay.
And the moment I landed at JKIA like this, checked my bags, inside the airport, I don't feel anything. First of all, the plane touched down and I just felt something about my heart. I was like, damn, I'm in an African ground now after almost 3 years, right? And
Wow.
I was excited.
Gives me goosebumps just listening to
But
that.
yeah, I just felt something I've never felt before. But the highlight of that was when I stepped outside the airport after I've been cleared my bags. And I
Yes.
stepped the first time outside now the airport and saw and stepped on the ground and felt the air.
That hot air that hits you.
No, breathe. Actually, it was at night, and
Oh, was it?
it was
Oh,
at night, and it was just something.
you
I felt
cannot describe it to anybody.
you cannot describe it. And I told my cab guy, he was so excited. Oh man, you're from America. He was looking at me like, this guy from
Yes.
America, blah blah blah. But in my heart, I told him, do you know what I'm feeling right now? I have not felt like this in 3 years. I have not felt the way I'm feeling right now. Like I've been breathing for 3 years, but right now I can breathe and feel air in my lungs.
Oh,
Actually,
say that again.
yeah,
And breathe now and feel the air through your
feel
lungs.
the air in my lungs. It's a feeling of relaxation, and that's what most people in Africa don't know they have. You're poor, but you have peace of mind. Here we are wealthy in material things.
They'll say, but I don't have peace. There's theft. I keep saying, do you know? Do you know that sometimes you rather even be robbed of material things
Right,
to be robbed of your sanity?
right.
You can be robbed of material things back home. Hopefully, don't take your life. Hopefully, I'm
Yeah,
not trying to make it sound like it's not important.
yeah.
But then what happens here is that you might be in a safe home,
Mm-hmm.
lost your sense of who you are. It's
Yeah.
been robbed of you. That's the worst thing to steal from somebody. Rather steal my material things and I have my mind intact.
Yeah, it's like selling your soul to the devil. You have all the worldly possessions,
Absolutely.
but in your chest you feel, yeah. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we are not trying to discourage you. We are trying to give you the situation on the ground. And people, don't be fooled by Instagram photos. When people post, yes, we have nice clothes. Yes, we drive good cars. Yes, we live in good houses. But at what expense? So the moment you come here, if you're looking to get your education, please get that education early. If you're looking to get experience, don't be stuck in one job for 10 years. Do 1 year, 2 years, leave them, dump them, go somewhere else, because they will fire you anytime or dump you anytime. So please,
That's what dump them first.
yeah, you might as well dump them first and move on. I usually say, move fast and break things. If you're not breaking things, you're not moving fast enough. That's Mark Zuckerberg quote in a book that he wrote.
Mm.
Move fast and break things. If you're breaking things, you're not moving fast enough. So make mistakes as soon as possible. Mess up, get
out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, in your comfort, get out, learn very fast. Don't wait so that it takes you 10 years, 20 years to realize, because the reason we are here is to give you our experiences from people that you can actually relate with. Because before I came to the US, I had never actually, I feel like I was so naive. I didn't know about YouTube or people who talk about America or the UK in YouTube. So I never know. I just came with my own mindset about the US.
Even if you had seen it, nobody would be telling you what me and you are
telling. Even if you had seen, nobody would be telling you the truth.
It would make it worse. In fact, you would have come with even more higher expectations, because
they would be showing me cars.
Lie. Oh, this. Oh, I just bought a new house, my new car. You'll have worse. Thank God for that.
So, guys, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. And in fact, there are very few times that I leave a conversation and I feel like, my God, I have to take notes.
Yeah.
The things that you say, and I don't want to go on too much, but thank you for the privilege. And thank you.
Thank you. I hope you come back again, and I'm hoping that I will come to your side so that I can say hi to the UK audience.
I think we'll plan that next, maybe in a few weeks. So yes, we should do that sooner rather than later.
For sure. And where can people find? I'm sorry?
We'll love to have you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I would love to be there with you. And where can people find you? Because I know our viewers have enjoyed the conversation. They've been with us. They've been with us for almost 1 hour 30 minutes. Where can people find you?
Okay, I'm on YouTube as Lulu's Diaries. So you look for me, you see me there. I'm on Instagram as well as Lulu Diaries. I'm trying to build that, but I'm only human. So we're getting there. But for Lulu Diaries, I produce content twice or thrice a week, talking about what you talk about. So we are twin channels. We're twinning from different continents and sharing the same woes. But what I say to everybody is, I am sharing what I learned turning 40 and things that I've learned in 20 years being abroad.
Yeah.
So
that's 20 years worth of game, guys.
of all sorts of ups and downs. And it's a new channel, but there's a lot I'm going to share about the next, because my life has been very, very I'm writing a book. So there's a lot going on. And I'm going to share with you guys undilutedly.
We will definitely, I will personally purchase that book, because I want to see the vulnerability, the honesty, the ups and downs. I want to see the truth, because we say in art is truth. If you can just be open, you will definitely have your audience and help and create value.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to share your I don't share my channel, but I'm going to share yours, because
Thank you.
I'm doing an amazing job. And once this video is out, hopefully I'll share it with my audience, and we'll have a lot of us, people who want to hear more, come to you. So thanks again.
Yes, ma'am. And I will do the same as well, because you are doing a good job, and I've been watching your videos and I'm like, thank you for not filtering things and painting a picture, a good picture than it is on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. You guys have chosen to be anywhere else in the world, but you are here with us. Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.